Hello and welcome to Fraggle Talk Classic, the unofficial Fraggle Rock podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. My name is Beth, and I'm rewatching for the millionth time.
My name is Julia, and I'm rewatching for the first time in 10 years.
My name is Adam, and I got my numerical suffixes mixed up, so I'm actually watching this for the firkend time ever.
Okay, but ekend is not even a numerical suffix. It's just a completely different word.
You can change things to different words by changing numerical... Look, if you look at it, it's one ST and then two ND.
But...
How would you pronounce one ND?
Wund?
Wund.
Well, then I'm watching this for the one time ever.
Okay, well, it's important. I jumped in already because as established the last time I was on, I'm the leader now. Still.
All right.
Thank God, by the way. Can I just say, we have been wandering around aimlessly. Mm-hmm. We were at a 7-Eleven for like 3 episodes. Thank God. Can you please get us back on track, Becca?
Beth, do you want to introduce me?
Becca Petunia is back. Our friend and fellow Tough Pig and fellow Fraggle Rock expert Becca Petunia is back. We're so glad to have you here.
Yay.
Hail the leader. Hail the leader. Grovel, 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 grovel.
And today we are talking about episode 11 of season 3, The Beanbarrow, The Burden, and The Bright Bouquet, which originally aired on I forgot to take that note from Muppet Wiki, and it's just gone.
I remember. Good old I forgot to take that note from Muppet Wiki.
It's at some point in 1985. We can look it up later. Written by...
Okay, March 11th, 1985.
Thank you, leader. Oh my gosh.
See? A leader.
written by B.P. Nicol, directed by Terry Maskell. Yes.
Okay, you got that
I got that part.
So, we start off with a really wholesome moment. One of the things that we've been pointing out has been Doc on the slow growth journey of, becoming a good and intentional and considerate dog owner, roommate, and caretaker for Sprocket. Something he dropped the ball on a lot in the earlier seasons, which was often the conflict of the episode. But at this point, there's a petition to make it so that pets can't go outside, and Dog immediately says he's going to stand up to the community for Sprocket.
Yeah.
No hesitation.
It's a really sweet thing. It's an incredibly ludicrous and unrealistic situation to be in because the dog curfew isn't like your dog can't be out at a certain point. It's your dog can never be out.
Yeah.
And that's just not workable. Like, anyone who has a pet would rebel against that, and a lot of people have pets. You need to take, Julia, you need to take dogs outside. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, this is the first I'm hearing about it.
That's why I'm the leader.
I've read that dogs need at least 30 minutes of exercise a day, and obviously this depends on, younger dogs, probably more. Older, maybe even a little bit less, but you gotta take them out to go to the bathroom. You can get pee pads and, things inside for extreme circumstances, but, they need a walk. They need to go to the bathroom. I have hard feelings about cats being kept inside. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was part of the pet curfew, I maybe wouldn't necessarily disagree unless you had a catio or you had them on a leash. But otherwise, dogs, though, need to be outside.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost always no reason to let your cats outside.
No.
They can get all of the enrichment they need inside, and if they're outside, not only might they get lost, but they also could affect the local bird population.
Outside has coyotes,
yes,
and also many small species, and if you don't want your cat to be a part of either end of the food chain, just keep them inside.
Exactly. I've worked for clients who have cats that are outside, and there's been at least 2 circumstances where those cats haven't come back. And I say this as someone who grew up in a household where we had cats that were indoor-outdoor cats, and I have done an entire 180 as an adult where they will hurt plants and small creatures, and also coyotes and cars will hurt them. So just keep your cat inside. This has been a PSA.
Yeah.
So we cut to the phrase that he says that I think becomes very much a theme and is hit as a theme is, well, they think that pets are just a burden on society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he says burden a lot.
Yeah. And so then we cut to Red and Moki, and they're talking about their plans for the Beanbarrow race. I think
Yes.
that's the name of the
the
thing.
the Beanbarrow. It's
Beanbarrow.
Yes.
Oh, I thought
It's like a wheelbarrow,
Like a
but shaped like
wheelbarrow.
a bean.
but shaped like a bean, and it's
Yes.
it's instead of being on wheels, it's on like sliders, like a sled or toboggan or something.
Okay.
I was wondering why it looked like a baby
Well,
cradle.
if you look on Muppet Wiki, and I'm sure Beth saw this, but we actually have a original Michael K. Frith sketch of the Beanbarrow and how the Beanbarrow would work, demonstrating how Lanford could be puppeteered in spoilers, how Lanford could be puppeteered in the Beanbarrow, and it did have wheels when Michael Frith originally drew it.
Right.
So maybe that's why it's still called a bean barrow, even though it doesn't have wheels like a wheelbarrow does.
Well, I did look this up. The origin of the word barrow, they did not have wheels.
Whoa.
It's just a flat rectangular frame with projecting handles for carrying a load. The original hand barrow had no wheels and required 2 people to carry it.
Like a stretcher?
Pretty much.
What is this?
Oh.
What does this tell us about Eli the Barrow Boy, the Decemberists song?
Oh my god.
That if he lays down and puts his arms up and his feet out, you can pick him up and carry him, but it requires 2 people.
Somebody at home was so excited to hear me make a Decemberists reference.
Yes.
I was excited. I just don't know them that well.
It's a good song, Eli the Barrow Boy.
I haven't heard it in a very long time.
16 Military Wives is my favorite song of theirs, and
Well,
always will be.
this is on the same album as that one.
I'm a Mariner's Revenge girl.
That's on that
Unsurprisingly.
album too.
Oh, also
'Cause it's a
very
good album.
So you really only need one Decemberist album, is what I'm hearing.
No.
Yeah.
I was saying this morning that I absolutely love my wife. But my second favorite wife is, of course, the Crane Wife, the Decemberist album, which I have loved longer than I have loved my wife.
Solid.
Crane Wife's a pretty good one.
It's a different kind of love, and it's very important that I establish that. I love my wife more.
The Decemberists have one specific couplet in a chorus that has made me feel something, such a complex feeling that no other couplet has. It's the line of "We will build our walls aluminum, we'll fill our mouths with cinnamon now," and like rhyming aluminum with cinnamon, awesome, beautiful slant rhyme. The rhythm lines up, but also aluminum is a terrible building material for your walls, and we filled our mouths with cinnamon during the cinnamon challenge, and it turns out it makes people throw up.
Those Decemberists, they're pretty dark and twisted.
Well, you know what? No, perfect. Yeah, yep. You've resolved all of it. That is, in fact, the intent of the song. They're saying we are going to build cold, poorly insulated houses and do internet challenges. Anyways, we're talking about Fraggle Rock.
Right. So Red and Moki are preparing for the all-day Cross Cave Beanbarrow race finals, and we get Red once again pumping granite with her barbells. I love that is consistent
That's
for her.
a puppet lifting weights.
Yeah.
Took me a while to figure out how they did it.
Same.
For one thing, the weights are probably styrofoam. That's part of how they did it.
What? No. But you never quite see the far left side of the barbell.
Exactly.
Very good at that world building, these Muppet folks.
And so Moki and Red are talking about how they're going to be such a great team. They're going to beat Gobo and Wembley so easily because the communication between them is incredible. And I love that is dropped in early because it was something I was definitely paying attention to in this watch through, is the communication between Moki and Red, the communication between Red and Lanford, obviously, and then even the communication between Gobo and Wembley. It's fascinating to compare. And obviously, Red and Lanford is the big relationship that's going to go on a journey here, but it was wonderful to watch it through this time with that specific lens of watching how their communication develops.
Yeah. It is fascinating, too, because it starts immediately then from a place of complete lack of communication, because Moki's like, which means I know you already know and are already okay with the fact that I need to bring Lanford along. And Red's like, what?
Yeah.
One of the things, I wrote about this episode for toughpigs.com for our Fraggle Rock 40 Years Later reviews. And one of the things, oh God, that was this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Listeners, Becca is drawing her glasses down and staring into the camera.
Okay, so I wrote about this for toughpigs.com because I do love this episode. And one of the reasons I love this episode is because I love Lanford. Lanford, I wouldn't call him my favorite Fraggle Rock character because my favorite Fraggle Rock character is probably Junior Gorg and then Marjorie and then maybe Red. But I love Lanford. And one of the things, I mean, the honest thing is I love Lanford because I love man-eating plants, cartoon man-eating plants. I think that they're always very funny and always look really cool. But the big thing is I love how Lanford brings out the worst in both Red and Moki. And I need to be clear that, like, obviously brings out the worst in Red because he is someone whom Red can always be like super heightened angry at in the same way that she often is with Gobo. But like with Gobo, it's a more nuanced relationship, although it becomes a more nuanced relationship with Lanford in this episode. And it also kind of brings out the worst in Moki. Obviously, we see a lot of that in Back to the Rock as well, with Lanford bringing out the worst in Moki. But Moki's, maternal streak can obviously be so powerful for her, but sometimes that maternal streak comes with a sort of selfishness, where it does feel like she's on her maternal streak for her first and everybody else second.
Yep.
Right.
And I think that's exactly what you see with this with Lanford, where she's not really working things out with Red and working out other solutions. I mean, again, obviously, and Adam, not to spoil Back to the Rock, but this will become Moki's basically main plot line in season 2 of Back to the Rock is how do I fit Lanford into my life?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Love that it becomes an overall arc.
Yeah.
You'll forget I said that by the time
I 100% won't. This is the kind of thing that my brain will latch onto and hold until I am 70.
Well, you'll have seen Back to the Rock season 2 by the time you're 70.
Yes.
You guys are halfway through
Hopefully.
Fraggle Rock regular at this point.
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying we're halfway there?
Oh,
Whoa.
no, not this one again.
Living on a prayer.
Did the Decemberists record that one?
Yep, that's... no, actually, I think that one's Queen.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, sorry. Deliberate provocation there. Anyway.
Yeah, Beth, you've got two choices here. The road diverges. You can either get the show back on track or yell at Adam and I.
Nope. You're the leader today. You get the show back on track.
Well, let's get the show back on track because Red is obviously furious that Moki wants to bring Lanford along. And honestly, I think Red is kind of right to be upset because it's going to ruin the Beanbarrow race because then she's got a Beanbarrow push twice as much weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said with Moki's maternalism, like, would Lanford really have suffered that much if she'd left him alone that day? Or would he have just blossomed on his own? Or the next day?
I mean, the issue is she didn't know the red spots many was about to blossom.
Oh, that's
I don't
true.
think
She thought he was
knows
sick.
that.
No,
She thinks
yeah.
he's sick. She thinks he's sick, but also just like, I would have worked something else out. Like, Boober, can you watch? Boober isn't in the race. Boober isn't involved in this episode until the thing happens that draws Moki away from Red.
Right.
So, like, it would have made sense to ask Boober or Marlin or Rumpel or Tosh to babysit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Tosh Boober definitely wouldn't watch a sick plant because he would be like, keep it away, it's got the germs, and I wouldn't leave Lanford with Marlin. Speaking for myself.
I was just naming other characters.
That's
But
fair.
I would not, and I wouldn't trust Rumpel either. Have you guys gotten to the one with
Lou.
Rumpel's
Just ask
gambling
Lou to
addiction?
watch it.
Yeah,
Lou
we
probably
did
wants
see
to
the
cheer for
gambling
Wembley.
one.
I like Tosh, though, because she's the one with Beast. And so she's used to having a pet that everyone else is afraid of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's chill.
Yeah. I also want to point out the parallel to the Doc and Sprocket section happens immediately. Like, Red is like, no, he's just going to be a burden.
Yep.
And we get that keyword said in consistent context, and it's just fantastic. And then also, Red and Lanford are getting in each other's faces, and then I thought Lanford was just going to bite Red, but he bites Red's pigtail and ear and then does a full, like, martial art throw.
Yeah.
So
Lanford
good.
knows martial arts. That's impressive for someone who doesn't have legs.
Going back, it's a great thing to deal with, and obviously they're dealing with this in terms of pets, but like no one wants to feel like a burden.
Yeah.
And I know, as several people on this show, my show, Fraggle Talk Classic, my show, because I'm the leader.
Yep.
But all of us on the show are different combinations of queer and neurodivergent. And I feel like both of those groups, you are sometimes made to feel like you are a burden by society, by those who quote unquote have to care for you.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to address, and doing it through the lens of pets. But I think there's something to be said about that here, and how bad it makes, it would make Lanford and Sprocket feel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Lanford and Sprocket are more aware of language and stuff than most animals are. I can call...
I thought you were about to say Lanford and Sprocket are more aware of language than most queer and neurodivergent people are.
I mean,
depending on the
I don't know.
person.
Have you met at least the people on this podcast? We love dissecting language.
We're so language. We're like double big languagers.
But I was gonna say, I mean, I can call Baby Olive a burden all the time, and I do. I talk about kicking her to the moon and stuff, but that's because she doesn't understand English.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, Lanford did martial arts, and
Oh, well, so then we get this really great little world building thing about how, there's clinging creepers, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
In this one particular cave, and everybody starts freaking out. And there's two really amazing moments I want to hit here. One, they call out for the flower defense team. So, like, this community
the
has
Bouquet
emergency...
Brigade, which is such a good name. The Bouquet Brigade.
it's really good.
The Bouquet Brigade. So, like, this community has organized and practiced emergency response teams.
Yep.
Hey, how to bring about world peace and save the world. And B, Boober just, like, is freaking out about these clinging creepers with the ref guy, and he, like, pantomimes being choked and rooted to the spot, and he does this by, like, choking the ref guy, and the ref guy's freaking out. And then at the last minute, this other purple fragger is just like, oh, are we freaking out over here? Oh, heck yeah, I'm in on this too.
That is not my interpretation of what happened.
Oh, what did you think happened?
The community member who, by the way, looks remarkably like you described how your Fraggle Sona would look,
Woo.
is talking with Morris, but while Boober and Henchy are getting more and more agitated, this purple Fraggle keeps looking back and forth and then realizes, oh, intervention is needed, and tries to pull Boober off of Henchy. That was my interpretation.
Oh,
And I was like,
that
that's a
makes
very
more sense.
teacherly thing to do.
But I kind of like it better if he's just like, oh, we're freaking out. Heck yeah, I'm in on that. But yeah, you're right. Yours makes more sense.
The thing is, Adam, when I watched this episode, I mean, I watched it for the first time years and years ago, before you'd ever seen Fraggle Rock.
Wow.
But yeah, it's
No
true.
wonder you're the leader.
I'd say I saw Fraggle Rock first, but I know that's not true. But when I reviewed this for Tough Pigs, I absolutely was thinking about what you always say, your little catchphrase, no seams in the world building.
Mm-hmm.
Because this episode introduces so much to us so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the kind of things that this isn't like the origin of the Bouquet Brigade, or the origin of Beanbarrow Racing, or the origin of the
A third thing.
a third thing.
Lanford's introduction into this world.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It isn't even the origin of Lanford, right? But honestly, Lanford doesn't even have an origin really in this show. Just
Not in this
Loki
version.
has him. Yeah,
Yeah.
in Back to the Rock, I'm combining them. But it's just so much about just trusting the audience to pick up on this world.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Boober explains the Bouquet Brigade a little bit, and the world's oldest Fraggle is going to very, very tactfully and goodly explain what Beanbarrow Racing is.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, like, this is just like, yeah, this is how it works in their world. The Fraggles have this problem with the clinging creepers. The Fraggles solve it with the Bouquet Brigade. You know, Moki and Boober are members of the Bouquet Brigade. And it's just like, we got to keep moving. This is how the world works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we see some Gobo and Wembley, and we get some really nice Gobo Wembley back and forth where Gobo's saying things and Wembley is immediately agreeing with whatever Gobo says, regardless of whether or not it conflicts with what he said before. And we get this great little editing moment where Gobo's like, we should go check on Red, and then it immediately cuts to them just laughing uproariously at the thought of bringing Lanford.
Yeah. And Gobo's great little jab of, hey, Wembley's gonna carry a plant too. He is? I am? Yeah, the banana tree on your shirt. That one got me. I forgot about that joke.
Yeah.
And then there's just this little moment where Gobo asks about Lanford's condition, and it seems like he cares, but then he's clearly just worried that it might be catching.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, Gobo, you're being a heel today, my guy.
This is not Gobo at his best. And I feel like this is very season 1 Gobo-y in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I do feel like Gobo's had a lot of growth since season 1. And isn't quite as much of a jerk as he was originally. But maybe not in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it's worth acknowledging that, like, growth isn't always linear, and, like, somebody working to be less of a jerk doesn't mean that they're going to immediately not be a jerk. It just means that there's going to be less instances where they are acting like a jerk, and then hopefully more and more time between those instances where they are not jerky.
Yeah. And I do like, you know, we mentioned a little bit in the last episode about Red being supportive of Moki while still not thinking that what Moki is doing is a great idea. And this is another good example of that. She's like patiently explaining to the boys, like, Moki won't leave him here by himself. She's worried about him. And Red's clearly not worried about him, but she respects Moki enough to be like, I will support you in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they hear about the creepy crawlers, and Moki's like, oh, I'm on the Bouquet Brigade. I gotta go, but don't worry, I'll meet you there. Which leaves Red to transport Lanford to the starting line. Then we get this great little bit where she's trying to walk him through a doorway, and Lanford full on just stretches up and bites the top of the
door
doorway.
Well,
so he can't go through.
It's setting up his stretchy bite,
Yeah.
which is a power he will unleash later.
I love a setup that doesn't look like a setup.
Yes.
I love a setup where you're not looking at it like, oh, that's setting up something later. You're just like, oh, that's a funny thing that happened.
Yep.
Can I also point out the most clever thing about the Lanford puppet, which is the way the Lanford puppet is designed, right? Typically, Lanford has a kind of like spirally stem, a narrow spiral stem, like a spring. Mm-hmm. And typically, Lanford is puppeteered from behind. The hand goes into the top of the head, and that way the spring can sort of just stand free. That wouldn't work when Lanford is moving around as much as he is in this. So what did these script writers and puppet builders do? Well, Lanford is sick, so Lanford is wearing a sweater. So now the arm just goes into Lanford like any other puppet, which is how Lanford can move around and do his extendo bite and climb the wall later and all of these things, because Lanford wouldn't be able to be as flexible if it was still just visually a spring.
I had not caught that at all. You're so right. That's genius.
Yeah, that's why I'm the leader, Adam.
You're so right. Thank you, leader. They're also, the last bit that I want to point out in this is after Red and Lanford just sort of collapse through this doorway, we get this amazing line. Red says, why do I get the feeling that this isn't going to work out? But she starts it low and just keeps rising throughout the entire line. There is no intonation but up.
It is the best delivery. Got it. Karen Prell is so good at her job, and I love that angry Red line.
I'm gonna try to reproduce it, and just listeners know I am not doing this justice at all. It's like, why do I get the feeling this isn't going to work out?
Yep.
So we also get it's this weird little detail in the background, but there's like, the Doozers also have a way to deal with the creepy crawlers, clinging creepers. Mm-hmm. They have Flower Force 5 and just like no seams in the world building.
Tiny little flower headbands, not just on the Fraggles now, but also on the Doozer helmets.
Mm-hmm. And there's like flowers on their machines and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. So Red and Lanford show up for the race. And the world's oldest Fraggle is like, who is this weird-looking Fraggle with the polka dot leaves? And I like that he assumes it's a Fraggle while acknowledging that it has leaves.
Yeah.
Well, sure, a Fraggle can have leaves. This world is weird.
Just reminds me of that one guy who would pretend to be a bush.
I'm sure there's a Fraggle somewhere who would... Oh, Red pretended to be a bush when she was tricking
sure did.
Junior.
She sure
Heck
did.
yeah.
There you go.
You know who else pretended to be a bush?
Jeb?
I was gonna say Will Ferrell, who played George Bush on SNL for at least one season.
There you go.
I was thinking about God because he was a burning bush in the Bible. Oh no, my Catholic upbringing.
I love that we all had different answers. That's great.
Am I right? Did Will Ferrell play George Bush? I'm pretty sure he did.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
okay.
did.
I think so.
Yes, okay.
I don't recall.
memory.
Yes.
I was just dunking on Jeb Bush because he came up the other day, and I was trying to explain how I don't think I've ever seen a more pathetic presidential campaign.
Please clap.
Please clap.
Please clap. Anyway, please clap for the world's oldest Fraggle, who's here to explain the rules of a Beanbarrow race in the form of the WOF rap.
Sorry, the rules, parentheses, WOF's rap.
Oh, yeah. This... I
enjoy rap.
I also enjoy rap.
Yeah.
I enjoy rap when it is written and performed by people who seem to understand what rap is.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I don't think, I'll tell you, I definitely don't think that the people here really understand what rap is.
We've seen 3.5 seasons. No, we're halfway through the third season. So 2.5 seasons of them explore all these different musical stylings. And I think for the most part, they do a really good job with all the different musical genres. This one is maybe the biggest miss I feel like we have witnessed on Fraggle Rock up until now. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the biggest miss on all of the songs, on all of the episodes of the original show.
Yeah.
It's not well written. It doesn't actually give you any information. And I love Dave Goelz. Not very well performed.
I enjoy
Beth, are you about to tell us that you like the rules,
No.
parentheses, WOF's rap?
This is another moment for me of, I like what you were trying to do there. They were trying to convey that the silliness of conveying the rules in it without actually doing any of that.
Sure.
Like, oh, I'm going to give you all the information you need, and at the end you're left with absolutely nothing. You have learned nothing. And in that much, they accomplished their goal. Shrug.
So this song is written by Tim Wynne-Jones,
Yes.
right? Instead of Dennis Lee. And
It shows.
well, here's the thing. Tim Wynne-Jones has done some good songs
Oh, yeah.
for Fraggle Rock.
Including the one we're going to get later in this episode, which we will talk
Which
about.
is one of my favorite Fraggle Rock songs.
100%.
The one we
It's a
get
great
later,
one.
the one we get later in this episode. But also, and I'm just trying to figure out which ones you guys have seen. I know we're a little ahead of what's currently released, but some good ones. Sweet, Sweet Little Treat was this guy, which I think has some great wordplay.
Yep.
If It Happened to You, the song from Fraggle Wars.
Yeah.
Red and
Yes.
the world's oldest Fraggles sort of fear-mongering song, which I think is really skillfully done.
Very skillfully done.
Share and You're Not Alone, which was brought back for Back to the Rock in a really cool way. And also really interesting because you want to talk about songs that explain the rules, but ultimately you come away not knowing the rules. Tim Wynne-Jones also wrote the Hum song, Hold Each Other's Noses. The courts song, when they go to the council... Shoot, what episode was that?
Oh, that was
It was earlier this
Red-Handed
season.
and the Invisible Thief.
Yep, Red-Handed and the Invisible Thief. Same one as Sweet, Sweet Little Treat.
Yep.
And that song is so catchy and so good. And I mean, again, I know he's the lyricist, not the instrumental, didn't write the music. That was still Phil Balsam. But just like, that song is good and does the same thing that I feel like Da Rules is trying to do.
Right.
But it's in a genre that clearly Balsam was more comfortable working with and the performers were more comfortable performing.
Right.
I think the thing that is the most frustrating to me about this song, and I have expressed this before, I love it when they genre. And part of the reason I love it when they genre is because if you listen to it from a musical perspective, they've done their homework. You know, if they're doing country and western songs, right? You can hear it's not just we're framing this and building it like a country and western, but the harmonies are country and western harmonies. The structures and the substance of it is a country and western substance. They did old Irish ballads and they nailed it. And this one, it really just feels like they didn't do their homework on it. And even then, like, there is a silliness to have a song that is like, hey, I'm going to tell you all these rules, and by the end of it, you don't have anything. And I don't even feel like they really hit the silliness of it. Like this, I kept just watching it being like, okay, what are the rules? Oh, well, okay, well, that number is just you set a number, and then the next one is you set a number, and then, oh, you set another number. Oh, and now we're down all 10 to 1. Yep, that's how counting backwards works, I guess. I do also want to give credit where it's due. I made this comment coming into season, like towards the back end of season 2 and into the beginning of season 3, which is that there are a couple of genres that I felt like they were kind of hitting a little bit too much. And that they have sort of backed off on having lots of songs per episode and have sort of gotten to the point where they're having like one or two songs maybe an episode, or maybe just one, and making sure that song's really good. And I feel like they've done a really good job of it. I feel like this is genuinely the first nothing song we've gotten in season 3. And that's, you know, credit where it's due for all of the songs up to this point.
Well, it's really important, though, just to note that the reason I'm on this episode, you thought it was because I liked Lanford and I liked the world building and I was invited, but it's actually because I'm only allowed to be on episodes where a character numerically sings the rules that they want other people to follow.
I thought about that
because
too.
That's the reason I'm the leader.
Red and Gutterfin, yeah.
Mm.
Right.
And that was a better song.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anyway, so Beanbarrow race.
Yep.
Yeah, the world's oldest Fraggle's really impatient.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's not getting any younger.
Not with that attitude. But so yeah, he's just like, screw it, you've got somebody in the Beanbarrow race, it's fine, let's go. And starts the race. And we get this great, I do appreciate there's a little bit of a call out of him at the end, because Moki shows up right after they've gone off, and she's like, oh, I didn't miss it, did I? And the world's oldest Fraggle is in the middle of complaining. He goes, oh, this generation never listens anyways. And Moki says, I didn't miss them, did I? And he says, what was that? I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, he's supposed to be a ridiculous figure, and obviously we see repeatedly that he is not a good leader, you know, again, and that's kind of the plot of Fraggle Wars, as was discussed earlier.
Yeah. And yeah, we get the first chunk of the race where Gobo and Wembley are communicating effectively. You know, they're Wembley's looking out for things that Gobo needs to watch out for, but then Gobo reminds him, like, hey, keep looking forward. Like, this is what I need from you as a navigator. Wembley's like, oh, right. So they're doing great. And then we cut to Red and Lanford, who they're going through the same chunk of space. Like, Lanford, you're in the navigator seat. You're supposed to warn me about these things. And like, yeah, the first time with the spring vine, he didn't warn her and made no attempt to do so. But then later, he's going to try and warn her and she just doesn't understand. Mm-hmm. Like, at this point, she's not wrong, but also that's not going to help her like, telling Lanford, like, you're supposed to warn me about these things. When he eventually does warn her, she doesn't catch it.
Mm-hmm. She, even at that point, when he tries to tell her, because there's this thing about the swinging boulder and how it like divides you between two different paths, and and the left path is the one with the clinging crawlers, and Lanford is very clearly like, don't go here, don't go that way, and Red is like, don't be so if you're not going to push, at least don't be pushy.
Yep.
And it's like, Red, you don't, that's you are giving contradictory orders.
Yep. We
also get to see a springing vine takes Red's flower necklace, which is a very important.
Yes. Important foreshadowing.
Again, you know, what Beth said earlier, it's about communication. And Gobo and Red have it. Gobo and Wembley have it here. Red, God, I'm just naming all the wrong Fraggles.
Boober.
Rumple. Rock Hockey Hannah and Lanford have it here, and Gobo and Beige
Gobo.
don't. So it's
so yeah, they pull over to take a little break, and
First official break.
And they realize that like they're not quite in the same place, because we as the audience know that Wembley and Gobo have taken the correct path, and Red and Lanford have wound up on the path that will lead them to the clinging creepers. But they pause for this postcard.
Also, just real quick at the beginning of this, there's just these little fauna kicking in hollow stalactites.
The stalagmite worms are back.
I love them.
Yup.
And then we get the postcard, yes.
one thing that they talk about, that the writers have talked about later on in the show, is that they were really struggling to find organic ways to bring up postcards. And this absolutely feels like a completely inorganic, well, we filmed this thing with Matt, so I guess they're going to take a break, and Wembley's going to be like, I guess we should read a postcard.
Mm-hmm. This one hits on one of the ones that I have been harping on for a while, which is like, we have clearly seen Matt go from country to country to country, and we have never seen him engage in a mode of transportation. And now we do. It does sort of bear the question, though. The conductor can see him and talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the twins could also see him, so
So, sometimes he is seen. The question is, like...
what are they seeing?
Do they see what they want to see? And then, like, does that mean that sometimes he is ignored and almost invisible? There's a lot of questions about Matt out in the real world that I don't think we ever get answers to.
I think, Beth, you and I have discussed this, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but, like, I've always assumed that there's some kind of and not to spoil the end of the show, Adam, because I will not spoil that. I'll say that Lanford has a big plot line in season 2 of Back to the Rock.
Yay.
I am not going to tell you how this show ends.
Thank you.
But I feel like people are not necessarily seeing Matt as a Fraggle.
Yeah.
I think that is the easiest thing to understand. That they see him as a strange man.
Yeah. Or a pig, when he's disguising himself as a pig.
True.
But yeah, I liked the postcard itself. I liked this little, he's walking along a railroad track, and this terrifying beast with glowing eyes, fire-breathing beast comes up behind him, which is a train, and he hides from it at first, but then, we see the conductor has, like, stopped the train, and he's beckoning for Matt to come check it out. And so he watches the, it's not the conductor, engineer, whoever it is that drives the train, whatever that job is called, feed more coal into the fire. You're feeding this hungry creature. And I was like, okay, so Matt is learning that what you at first think might be a scary beast is actually just a gentle, helpful creature. I think that's the same lesson Red is learning.
I mean, I don't know if Langford is, like, gentle.
He can be.
He does bite a lot.
But he likes lullabies.
Yeah.
True. I will say it's just funny that Becca brings up, like, that at this point it kind of just feels like postcards are getting shoehorned in and the writers don't know what to do, because we did just have on the previous episode, our guest was a producer of Fraggle Rock and did talk about how that was actually a very real sentiment of, like, geez, how are we going to get Matt in this episode?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, again, I knew I had read that somewhere. That's so exciting that you're talking, but that wasn't a guess. I think that's mentioned in the tome.
Yeah.
Oh, fair.
The tome.
And that's the tome. And that's also, like, part of why, Adam, cover your ears.
Oh, God.
There we go.
Take your ears off.
That's part of why they chose to have Matt return to the Rock in the next season. And he does some episodes, like, with Gobo in person. Because it was really like, how many of these can we do, guys?
Yeah.
All right, Adam.
Come back.
I won't be able to hear it if you call my name. You gotta give me visual cues.
I gave a thumbs up.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to everyone else.
I did the thing.
We were doing this.
I did
I heard
headphones
someone
on.
say my name as I was putting it back on.
I did say your name, but I also was giving a thumbs up.
Is that what that is? There you go. So Gobo and Wembley speculate that Red is not around here, not because she's lost or took the wrong turn, but because she might have found a shortcut and gotten ahead of them. So they rush off and don't bother being like, oh, I wonder if Red got lost and we should look for her. No, we got to beat her.
I love that they just, and again, it's because they're operating under the assumption, like, there's no way Red could be losing that badly at a sport.
Yep.
You know, Gobo has this respect for Red, even if they have this rivalry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And during this little break, Red is doing what we saw Gobo doing earlier, basically greasing the rails of the Beanbarrow with gorg butter. And Gobo mentions earlier that it is clarified gorg butter. Now, we have seen gorg butter used before. It is the purple, bright purple stuff that you get from greaseberries, and they used it to slick up Sprocket when he was stuck in the hole. And greaseberry leaves are what you slide on for greaseberry leaf sliding season. And now we get clarified gorg butter, which somehow, when you clarify it, goes from bright purple to white.
Well, they should have called it Gorgie.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Gorgie. Oh, geez. Wow. Okay. Yep. There it is. I'm just leaves the chat. It's just fully left the Zoom call.
Is he gonna be back?
I mean, it will be so funny if that's an accident, but I kind of gotta believe it's a pun thing.
Nah.
It's not even really a pun. What is Gorgie?
It's nothing. It's great. I love it.
It's
I hate
not a pun. It's all right. So this is when the creepers show up, correct?
Oh, not yet. So first, so Red is greasing up the rails of the Beanbarrow, and Lanford is looking at the map. He's holding the map and looking at it, and he yells at Red, and she's like, what, are you trying to tell me something? And he's nodding furiously, and she's like, well, what is it? And he shakes the map, and she's like, sounds like map. Like, they go through this whole thing of Red figuring out how Lanford is communicating with her, and finally figures out that he wants her to look at the map, and then she realizes where they are. They're in the wrong place, and isn't that where the clinging creepers are? There they are. Now they're here to get us. And of course realizes, like, oh, good thing I've got my floral headband. Oh, no, it's gone.
Yeah. Then we cut back to Doc and Sprocket, where Doc has started a petition. Doc loves starting a petition. This has to be at least the third or fourth time he has done it in order to get people on his side for pet curfew, against pet curfew.
Listen, we love a civic engagement king.
100%.
That's true. You know, I would sign that petition if I was walking down the street of like, hey, do you think that pets shouldn't have any all-day curfews? I'd be like, yeah, I don't think about that. I don't think that's true.
It's not even a curfew if it's all day.
Yeah.
It's a ban. Curfew is like they gotta be in at a certain time.
Which is still hard because sometimes they have to go to the bathroom at nighttime.
Yeah, and sometimes with the...
Hey!
Yeah, you disappeared.
Alright. Yep. I clicked right as you said go. That should be good.
I can't wait for you to listen to this because the timing of your exit was perfect.
Glorious. But yeah, I'm back.
Gorgius.
Gorgius.
It didn't work. Okay, so anyway, it's interesting again also that this is like a plants versus plants episode.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the payoff of Lanford biting the doorway and boosting?
Not yet. We're not there yet. Cool. We just got to the middle beat for Doc and Sprocket of checking in of like, oh, we only have 4 signatures. How are we going to do this?
I do want to then real quick just point out the design for the clinging creeper vines is fantastic. They've got this slow, ominous creep. It feels like Doom.
Yeah. Yeah, the clinging creepers are, as best as I could tell, made basically like gloves with really, really long articulate fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that the puppeteers can slowly wiggle each finger and get that really cool effect.
So they got to get out of the way. And Red's not sure she can climb, but she knows she can boost Lanford up. And then Lanford will be able to climb out of the way. So Red does something selfless and saves Lanford.
Yeah. I do like that there was this beat of, she says, hey, you're a plant, talk to them. And I was like, aha, thank you, Red. Rule number 1, have you tried giving the monster a hug? And Lansford's like, clears his throat and says something in whatever he's speaking, and the clinging creepers freak out. They pause their creeping and they shake ominously, and then they resume their creeping. Like, well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, and it's great because Red then goes, I don't think I want you to translate what they just said.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Message clear.
these plants are shouting slurs at Red.
Oh, yeah. It's bad.
These plants are like, get out of here with your non-rectangular cells that only have cell membranes and not also cell walls.
Hey, we got roundies over here. Get out of here, roundies.
Yeah, roundies. That's the slur that plants have for us. Anyway, continue.
I love that it's, so again, we get that great payoff of what initially was Lanford fighting against Red to, reach up and bite onto the rock, is now what saves him. He's able to climb up and scooch his way over to grab onto a protrusion on the rock and haul himself up. And there's this wonderful puppetry shot where when he fully gets up onto the rock and you see like the bottom of the pot that he's planted in, you're like, how did they do that? Because normally that's where an arm would go up or, through the back of the head. But instead, in this instance, they must have had a hole in the rock for the puppeteer to basically do it backwards. Like you stick your arm in through the hole in the rock and then through Lanford's mouth, then into the rest of his body. And then that arm slowly pulls the pot up and retracts itself into the rock.
Also, after he finally gets up there, he pauses to catch his breath, which, this is a plant.
Don't think about it too hard.
Does he have lungs?
Don't think about plant lungs.
Does he have lungs? Because that would explain why he didn't want to translate the slurs if he has rectangular cells but also lungs.
Is he a hybrid? Oh.
Well, he's a carnivorous plant.
True.
Oh, so they're not his lungs.
Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no.
But Lanford does wind up helping Red up.
Yeah.
Red picks up a stick and tries to fight them back, and Lanford just grabs the top of the stick and pulls her right up. It's fantastic.
I do want to appreciate this moment for Red, that she is absolutely ready to fight these things with a stick that she is wielding like a sword. Because not only in this episode, but it's definitely happened more than once that we have seen Red reading stories of very heroic princess characters that fight, dragons or whatever kind of beasts. And this is her moment to be the heroic princess. And darn it, it's not a sword. It's just a stick. And they take it away from her. And the shot that I could not figure out how they did it was when the clinging creepers start to wrap around her legs. I was like, is that just a regular, finger in the clinging creeper gloves that wraps around her little leg? Or did they build a whole other mechanism to get that? Because it's such a good shot. And it's so quick.
Then they're up on Table Rock.
Indeed.
We get this wonderful little scene in the middle where, we cut back to the Great Hall and all the Fraggles are just kind of lounging around, taking naps, wearing flower headbands. I was like, oh, look, it's me and my friends.
Good living.
Yep. And yeah, they're using this moment to say like, hey, where are Red and Lanford? Like, shouldn't they be back by now? And that's when Gobo and Wembley show up, assuming that they're in second place and that Red has beat them.
There's a beat before this that I want to point out because it really stood out to me. Moki feels really bad about missing this race. And she flat out says, I hate myself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a weird line. Not a weird line, not that people don't say that, but that's not the kind of thing you hear the Fraggles say.
It's also, I've been trying to, I genuinely racked my brains for a solid 20 minutes trying to find any other instance of a character in a children's TV show flat out just saying it. And there's some close, there's one of just sometimes I don't like myself very much, And, like, but that's always at the build of a, like, oh, you know, these characters have sorted through this thing, and then that's the, like, yeah, we've landed on this. Not just in a quiet moment of, like, yeah, I dropped the ball on this, and I have a lot of self-frustration. And I have heard children say this.
Mm.
I mean, even hearing it once is more time than you want to, but, like, often enough that it's a pattern.
Mm.
And they deserve to see that represented.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to think you're the only one who feels that.
Dang. Yeah. And, like, I wish they'd resolve that a little more, because we don't really... Like, what exactly is Moki feeling in this moment other than guilt?
Shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Moki necessarily like learned a lesson here,
Right.
But because again, we're gonna continue to see Moki kind of be again weirdly one of the most selfish of the characters, because ultimately she engaged. I mean, they're all kind of selfish, all 5 of the Fraggles, but Moki engages in your classic white liberal antics all the time. But I do think she is feeling guilt and shame about this, and that is something that upsets her. And again, maybe they should have dealt with that a little more, but it's also not Moki's story. It's Red's story.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
And Lanford's story.
Mm-hmm.
Which takes us back to Red and Lanford for the best part of the episode. Are we at that part?
I believe we are.
So they're up on top of Table Rock, and it's gotten dark. And there's more and more clinging creepers. And this is where Red and Lanford finally start communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Red finally is like, I mean, first of all, she thanks Lanford for helping her. And she says that Lanford isn't really as bad as she says.
She apologizes. She says, sorry I snapped at you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really something from Red.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And an apology with a promise for changed behavior in the future.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
She says, if there's a future, I'm going to take you out for walks.
Yeah, well, listen, we only see Lanford 2 more times after this episode, and one of them is a very small appearance, so we'll never know if Red held to that, but I'd like to believe that she did.
I also want to point out, the offer of going on walks is also, it's preceded by this really beautiful moment of empathy. She says, I never thought about it. It must be tough being stuck in a pod in the corner all the time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And she says, just like I'm stuck up here on this rock.
Mm-hmm. She needed that moment of empathy to be like, oh, this is what you experience all the time? That stinks. Can I help you out with that?
Mm-hmm. And then they get this great moment where she's like, I wish you were different. And Lanford's like, hey, we were just having a moment.
Yeah.
And Red's like, no, like, you're great. But just like, I wish you had flowers, because flowers would drive these things away. And Lanford basically is like, yo, I'm about to flower. That's the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
And Red's like, can you hurry it up? And you get to see Lanford try really hard to flower. And it's so funny. It's like watching a very constipated cartoon character try to poop.
I love that at this point, their communication has gotten good enough that he can convey a concept as complicated as, I am about to bloom.
Mm-hmm.
Before, he couldn't even communicate, hey, watch out for that thing. And now she gets it because she's paying attention.
Well, but it's less, I was going to say it's less that he's changed. It's more that Red is paying attention now.
Yeah.
And he can't. And Red goes, is there anything I can do to help you? And he explains through Lanford's speech that Red needs to sing him a lullaby.
Yeah. Which she is reluctant to do at first. Like, I get that this is a life and death situation. And she's like, I don't see any way out, and I don't know what we're gonna do, and you want me to rock you and sing you a lullaby? Are you crazy? And it's like, yeah, sometimes these, the non-human people in your community have needs too, and sometimes those needs are inconveniently timed.
Yeah.
I think everyone who's ever had a pet has had a pet emergency at a really inconvenient time.
Yep.
Beth, sometimes the humans in your community also have inconvenient needs at inconvenient times.
Great point.
I'm going to make myself easier to love by making sure that all of my needs only come up at convenient times.
Oh,
No. It's. I already did that. I never cause problems for anybody.
Oh, great.
I fixed it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, can you tell me how you did that? That sounds great.
Well, with 24 easy payments of $24.99, you too can learn the secret to not taking up space.
Oof.
Oh, I've just been storing my intestines in a pocket dimension.
Adam, they actually cut out a foot of my intestines, and that was part of it.
Oh, wow. Maybe yours are hanging out with mine.
Yeah, anyway, so Red sings an amazing song.
I love this song.
This song's really good.
It's so good. Karen Prell does such a good job with it. It is, I want to get the title right because I always forget it. It's called The Wind and the Pond and the Moon and Me. And it's just this really sweet kind of like imagery-filled song about nature and being a part of nature and all of these things. And it is, again, it's not written by Dennis Lee. It is some really good poetry written by, Tim Wynne Jones, who isn't the one, he was not the poet laureate of Canada, unlike Dennis Lee. And it's a beautiful song. And I just wish there was a clearer recording of it that doesn't have the clinging creeper vines sound effect.
I will say, now this is a personal thing. I really enjoy the cover of this song that is on the 2018 cover album, Do It On Our Own. It was covered by Cameron Jones, and I think it's really beautifully done. I think it's consistent enough with the original, but it also gives a lot of like that creepiness element in the instrumentals that you don't get without the clinging creepers if you're, just listening to it. And so they are somehow able to do that musically, and there's wonderful echoey effects. I think it's really well done.
It's good, but it isn't a replacement, I think, for Red's version, which is so sweetly done. And I have the audio of it on my phone, but I always wish that there was maybe a clearer take of just Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the imagery here. Like, the one that stuck with me and still has is dreamboats are docked and the cattail reeds.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to point out just the structure of it is so wonderfully simple. You've got 4, you've got 7, and then you've got 4, and then you've got 5 in terms of lines for the stanzas. And the really beautiful thing about that is you get that thing that you can only really get away with in lullabies because it's perfect. Is the last line of that first stanza is, I know I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the second one, the 6th line is, no fears, no cares. And you think that's the end of it, but then they go again, I know, I've been there. And it's that you're musically slowing down the structure of the song.
Mm.
You're musically drawing it out and slowing it down a little bit with that repetition. And it does the same thing for the 3rd and 4th stanzas, and just that is such a specific structural thing that makes lullabies work. And the fact that they stick the landing on it so wonderfully, and that the rhymes that they manage to pull out are so simple and elegant.
Yeah.
It's a very good song.
It's a very good song.
And it's also, again, it's also much like the I would say the actual most important episode of Fraggle Rock, which is Marooned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Much like Marooned, this is a great example of Red having this sweetness inside of her that she doesn't want to let out in most situations, and certainly does not want to let out in front of Gobo or Moki, her 2 best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Red, I think, is at her best when she's bonding with an unlikely friend in dire straits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a note that this whole part of the episode felt similar to Maroon because they're facing potential death and she's being very vulnerable.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it's perfect for her because, that's exactly when you can and must support the ones who can save the day. There's nothing she can do. She is supporting the guy who can save the day.
Mm-hmm.
In doing what he needs to do. And then he blooms and he's so beautiful and he's got
really good.
Almost like pigtail things happening like she does.
He kind of looks like Boober when he is in bloom. Doesn't have eyes, greenish skin, I guess like stem. He's a plant, he's green, but then he has this bright red hair over his non-existent eyes, and so it kind of just looked like a plant version of Boober.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated.
But yeah, she admires him and calls him beautiful, and the clinging creepers recede, and when they find the group again who is out looking for them, Wembley calls Lanford
Wembert. That's his full name, actually.
Wembert.
Wembley says Lanford is lovely, and Boober says he smells wonderful, and Red says he was the perfect companion for the situation we were in.
Which is such a great, I don't know, that feels like a barbed compliment, but I do think it's actually very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do end on kind of like a joking note that, Red says, like, even if he does have the navigational sense of a moldy mushroom and he kind of like play bites her pigtail, kind of showing that like they're not BFFs now. There's still a little bit of animosity there, but now it's like in a playful, consensual way.
Yeah.
Which feels a lot better for them than it did at the beginning of the episode.
It still feels like it feels much better, and I think we're supposed to believe that they've come to this sort of equilibrium.
Yeah.
Where they're still going to act the way they always acted towards each other. I mean, we see this with Red and Boober too at the end of Marooned, where they do kind of reset to default, but reset to default with an increased understanding of the other. And then we go to Doc.
Singing.
And apparently Sprocket helps prevent a vandalism.
Have we heard Doc singing anything before? I feel like this is the first song we've gotten out of him. It's only a snippet, but...
Not that I can remember.
It's delightful, just like, they walk on through the fog, that man and his dog, they're together and always will be. I googled it. I don't know if this is a real song. I think it is just an original little snippet for here. But Sprocket's, howling along on the final note and dancing, and it's adorable.
It's very good.
But yeah, Doc says, when that man burst out of the crowd and tried to throw a gallon of yellow paint on the statue of the town's first mayor, the way you leapt on him and knocked him to the ground, and I was like, is that something a dog should leap on you for? Property damage? Like, I feel like I need to know more about this mayor and why someone feels the need to symbolically douse him in yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
I had a lot of questions.
Isn't Doc also protesting the government? Shouldn't he have been on this guy's side?
Yeah, like, why was this person throwing paint at a statue of the first mayor? Did this have to do with the pet, quote-unquote, curfew? And also, are pets only not a burden if they are protecting property by the government? Like, what? I get that the final message is just like, pets aren't a burden. We're great. We're so grateful to have them. But I felt like there could have been a better, I don't know, resolution, I guess, to get to this point before ending the episode.
And it's important, and I guess we should say this about Lanford too. And, when I thought it was kind of sweet, the statement, like, he was the perfect companion for this situation. But, like, you don't have to be useful to have value and have your needs appreciated. And I think that it's important to remember that when it comes to these stories too, that yes, Lanford and Sprocket saved the day, but their needs absolutely matter regardless.
Thank you so much for saying that. That was something that had not stuck out to me before in watching this episode, but only on this rewatch. I was like, hey, wait a minute. What about those times when you can't be useful? Your needs still matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it speaks to the level of intention in this show that we can get to that depth of analysis to have problems with it.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
But also I agree. Like, one of, you've probably heard the story, but there's a Neanderthal that we found the remains of who, broke their leg in a bunch of really gnarly places and it healed really badly. And they lived to old age because their community took care of them. And, maybe they did weave baskets and maybe they did watch the kids. But what matters is that they got to live. because their community took care of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are we making the world a little more fraggly?
That's a great question.
Well, can I go first so I can take the one that I just said?
Please,
which is,
do it.
You don't remember that people do not need to be useful to have be worthy of respect and have their needs met. Which I guess is maybe not the lesson of this episode, but I think that that's the way that we can, best help our communities.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
My way to make the world a little fragglier is if you see a dog out for a walk, say hi to it. Probably also say hi to the person too, but I don't know. As someone who walks a lot of dogs, I totally get when people only acknowledge the dog, and I'm fine with that.
That's the important part.
Yeah. Wave at a dog.
If you have to learn how to make friends with a dog, you could watch the VHS tape Neat Stuff to Know and Do from about 4 years after this. I will say that most of the things that it tells you to do are not accurate and you shouldn't do them. But I guess I'm just always telling people that they should watch Neat Stuff to Know and Do, a VHS tape that teaches you how to be friends with a dog.
All right.
I love that. I'm going to bounce off of that and say, if you're a silly creature who sometimes struggles to communicate with your fellow silly creatures, start with a non-human creature. Start with someone who cannot communicate to you in words, and then pay attention to how they do communicate, because they're gonna say something. They're gonna tell you what their needs are.
Yeah.
AKA, get a pet.
If your plant exerts itself, make sure you give it a moment to catch its breath.
And remember that when plants are calling you slurs, they're calling you a roundy.
Yeah! Where's your cell wall, roundy?
Hey, this fool over here ain't got no chloroplast.
Whoa! Oh, sorry, do you need to go scavenge for food because you can't make your own with sunlight?
Oh, are you looking for a girlfriend? Because you can't reproduce using both your male and female organs that you can keep at your flower?
Cha.
Oh, perfect. Becca, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so glad we got you for this episode.
Yeah, always a pleasure to have you on the pod.
I'm so glad to be here. I really am.
Yay!
Do you want to tell folks where they can find you?
Take that line again without yawning, please.
No.
Okay, no, I got it.
No, Adam, take it sleepier.
You want to tell folks where they can find you?
Okay, good. So, well, you can find me in a number of places. I write and podcast for toughpigs.com, the website where you can find this podcast. In particular, check out the Muppet Fan Podcasts with Tough Pigs feed, where for the first season of my amazing new podcast, A Prairie Dawn Companion, can be found.
Wah, 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 wah.
I'm really proud of it. That was a labor of love.
It's so good.
It's so
was
good.
all of the things that I ever wanted to do in a podcast put together. We got amazing guests, Stephanie DeBruzzo, Fran Brill. We go deep onto like feminist theory and media criticism theory. I got a composer to write a song about Rodeo Rosie. And you can hear all of these things on A Prairie Dawn Companion. But you can also find me elsewhere on Tough Pigs. I am one of the mods of the Tough Pigs Discord server. So check us out there.
Thank you.
Yep, check us out. You're welcome. Check us out there. You can also find me on Blue Sky and Instagram. Two websites that are frustrating in different ways, but a girl's got to be out there. You can find me at Tall Girl Petunia. And you can also find me, I'm sorry I got a million things, but let me just keep plugging.
Do it.
You can also find me on my other non-Muppet podcast, Here Comes Tomorrow.
Ooh.
Here Comes Tomorrow is a podcast on Grant Morrison's run of New X-Men from 2001 to 2004. I am doing that podcast with my dear friend, Josie Reisman, who is a journalist and biographer. She literally wrote the book on Stan Lee, and also literally wrote the book on Vince McMahon. Don't worry, she does not like Vince McMahon.
Okay.
She just thought that he was an
Good.
interesting person to. She doesn't like Stan Lee either. Let me tell you,
Okay.
which is also worthy of that. And has a book on Beck coming out soon. If I can plug somebody else's book,
Do it.
Yeah.
yeah. But she and I have been having a lot of fun going through that. It is not only just a look at the comic, but also a look about what it says about society and the world and culture and politics. We've had amazing guests on, professors of genocide studies, a ton of queer writers. Jamel Bowie from the New York Times was on our show, which was unbelievable, and just talking about sort of like what comics have to say about making your way in a world that hates and fears you. So you can find that at herecomes.tomorrow.net or on any podcatchers, you know what I mean. And hey, you can also find on veeps.com. You guys should still be able to access the live stream from a couple months ago of the Muppets script of The Muppets Take Manhattan, where I narrated. Let's plug that too, even though that will have happened months ago by the time this episode comes out.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yay.
Oh, and also, I don't know, find a way to volunteer in your community. I can plug that, and I can also plug, I don't know, the TV show Dr. Odyssey was fun. It was stupid.
Oh my God.
I can plug that. Any other plugs I've got?
You want to plug the three of us?
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
you're also plugging yourself. You appeared on a podcast as a guest, actually.
I did. So let me plug Fraggle Talk, an amazing podcast that you can access on the Fraggle Talk Classic podcast feed through Tough Pigs. You can also find Julia and Beth's writing on toughpigs.com.
And one of Adam's.
Yeah, I have one.
Oh, Adam,
Just
you
one.
have one article there. That's true. And Adam, you can't be perceived elsewhere. Beth, you are on social media at Beth Anna Cook. And that's Anna spelled like the Disney princess with 2 N's.
Thank you.
And Julia, you can find your writing, your website, which I actually forgot, so I can't plug you guys.
It's just juliagaskill.com.
Okay, that was pretty easy.
Just my name.
I could have remembered that. JuliaGaskill.com, and you can also find you on mostly Instagram at Geek Girl Grown Up.
That's correct.
How is that? How is that plugging everybody else?
That's pretty
rules.
solid.
Perfect.
Alrighty.
Yay. Okay. Thank you so much again for joining us, Becca. Listeners, remember to check out toughpigs.com. Give us a good review on your podcatcher of choice, and we will see you next time.
Don't forget to dance your cares away.
Dan at Fraggle Talk.
Wow.
Fraggle Talk Classic is brought to you by toughpigs.com. Fraggle Talk art by Dave Hulteen Jr. The Fraggle Rock mark and logo, characters, and elements are trademarks of the Jim Henson Company. All rights reserved. Fraggle Rock theme song, written by Philip Balsam and Dennis Lee, is used with permission. Special thanks to the Jim Henson Company and the entire Fraggle Rock family. For more from Tough Pigs, follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook, and make sure to check out our Discord server, TeePublic merch store, and Patreon. Fraggle Talk Classic is produced and edited by me, Beth Cook. Thank you to Joe Hennis, the Tough Pigs Muppet Fan Podcast executive producer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, down at Fraggle Talk. And
We also, as we cut to oh, go ahead.
you probably noticed the same thing I did.
Yeah, so we also get it's this weird little detail in the background, but there's like a little like pentacle symbol, and it's got like a smiley face and a frowny face next to it, and it looks like there's like a code written there. Beth, you noticed that too, though, right?
You are making up. You are me right now.
Absolutely, I am making
I knew it.
Actually, what we see is that the Doozers also have a way to deal with the creepy crawlers.